Three, two, one. We are live. Maybe we're not live. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm drinking heavily. And we are here. We are live.
Hello.
How you doing?
Live and kicking.
We're alive and kicking. That's crazy. I'm just getting out the since it's live, I'm getting out all the stuff to the peoples. So the peoples can watch it.
Yeah.
And then we rebroadcast it tomorrow for the
peoples.
peoples. We do everything for the peoples. Just the peoples.
Is this right? Is there a word like that? Peoples? Does it exist?
You know what? It's our show. Whatever word we want is correct.
Okay.
We're not teaching English.
Outside our show, is it correct?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's see if there's a world called. I know there's a world called people.
Yeah, but does it have plural?
Let's find out. Peoples. There's a people's farm. There's a people's pharmacy. Is it correct to use the word peoples? Peoples is only used in the case where it's necessary to distinguish between ethnic groups. Oh, well, we don't distinguish between ethnic groups. We love all ethnicities. Fat chicks, skinny chicks,
okay,
Asian
but it's
chicks,
not the distinctions in criticizing them. It's to look. This has to do with today's topic, which is identity.
That's true. I'm very excited.
You see, we're going to the topic right now.
We're going to talk about the peoples.
Yeah, the identity, because the peoples, like from the ethnic, it's not about discriminating, saying something is better than other.
Right.
The identity, something else. So what is identity in your opinion? What's your definition of identity? Just put your words. You don't have
No, I understand. I have to. So I don't identify as anything because I could care less. I'm a people. I'm a human being. I'm a biological carbon life-based format. That's what I identify.
That's already identification. That's already
right, because I'm not AI, so that's good. Like David's not even real. He's just generated on a computer screen. But he's off today. So when I do my rhetoric, I then identify as a New York Jew, a finance guy, a cigar and scotch smoker. That's my rhetoric, my heterosexual male, blah, blah, blah thing. So that's what I identify when people when we're on the show. But in my real life, I could give a rat's ass. I'm just a human being, just like everybody else.
So you can say that there are many ways of identifying something, and many reasons probably also.
Yes, I think. Yeah,
because
I think
because it's like a narrative. I am this and this and this, like a narrative, like a story. Like I always say, that's all stories. And there's another side to it, like when you are with yourself, you say, I don't fucking care about all those stories.
Right.
I am just a generic thing, a human being, which is not a generic, very specific, but not distinct so much from the others. And they're both true, It's not that something is false or not. We are just trying to realize what identity is and how it is used. I mean,
how about you? When someone says identify, how do you identify yourself?
So you think that it's a subjective thing, that the identity is subjective thing, that everybody has its own?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's perspective. If you talk about yourself, well, not only about yourself, but about anybody.
Right.
Because somebody is identifying himself with something, like what you said, for example.
Right.
But the others do not have to identify you with the same thing that you identify yourself with. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
People make other stories from those that we want to present to them, or we think that our set of beliefs.
Right. I look at, here's how I tell people. I look at everybody as a human being until you're not. That's how I identify people. So I don't care about your color, your sexual orientation, the LBGQ, MOUSC, all that crap means nothing to me. You are a human being until you're not. And then when you're not a human being, then I'll put you in a category. I'll identify you as something else. And
But
that,
when a person does not becomes non-human, when it happens.
So if someone becomes not, they're still human. It's just then all of a sudden you go into a category. And so when I first meet you, you're in no category. You're a human being. And I don't care black, white, green. I don't care where you come from. I don't care about your religion. I care about nothing but you as the human being. I want to get to know that person. But people have a tendency to just be stupid. And once they're stupid, then that's where I start putting them in boxes, whether it's your race, your sexual orientation, your region, then it goes into a box. But when I first meet somebody, and I have people I've known for 30 years, and to this day, they're just human beings. And I have people that I'll meet, and after 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, you check all these boxes. You're in this identity to me now. And it's my mind just works much differently. I don't look at you and go, oh, he's a white guy. I go look at him and it's Adam. I have friends of color, and I don't look at them as, oh, this is my black friend, this is my Indian friend, this is this one.
Yeah.
That's my friend.
But okay, look, identification happens instantly from our brains. We don't even control it because our brains, they constantly want to give a meaning, a reason to something, especially a meaning. I mean, they don't like unknown things, like abstract things, totally abstract things, unknown. Right. So when we meet somebody, it's not that we are judging them in some way, but the banners that go after a person. Right. Oh, look, he looks very reasonable because he talks in a reasonable way and it makes sense, etc., etc. So it's a categorization. It's not judgment though, because our minds. No, it's not a judgment. Judgment is always about quality.
No,
okay, it is a quality. It is a quality of a person, but it's not to say, oh, that's good or bad or something like that. Or even if we are doing this, is to protect ourselves from something. I mean, we want to categorize also people where we're, okay, let's go to this part. Because I think that there is a part of identification, like the topic we have today, but it's all identity, what we are talking now.
Right.
Identification naturally. What it is that I'm seeing right now, or talking who is this guy? Who are those people here? I'm in a different country, how they operate. They have their own identity, their own set of laws, their own characteristics.
Right.
So the first that our mind are doing is the characteristics. It's collecting data. Then
it's always collecting data. That I agree with.
Yeah. But it's categorization, it's identity.
But I'm not wired. But I'm not wired like that. Everyone that knows me hates me because they'll say something. I'm like, I just don't think of it like that. I think of it totally different. So when I look at somebody, it doesn't matter how you're dressed or whatever. I need to know you. Then after I know you, if I want to, I'll put you in a category or identify you. But if not, you're still just a human being. So I know when I go to certain places and I'm dressed in, the bespoken suits and the watch and the this and the shoes and, my gentleman's gentlemen are helping me put my legs in my pants. People look at me and they identify me as X. But if you see me every day when I'm not, when I don't have to do carning, if you will, the show, I'm like in a pair of sweats, a pair of jeans, a t-shirt. I look like I need someone to buy me a bowl of soup. So, and I'm good with that. Right. So everybody else I need to know the person because that is how I can identify you. And your identity with me may be you're a human being. That's your identity with me. It goes no further than that. But there's certain people, you get to know them. I'm like, this guy or girl is so I think everybody does it a little differently. My brain is definitely wired a lot differently than most I've found over the years.
Yeah, I think everybody has a different brain. Nobody experiencing the same thing, same set of things.
That's true.
It's This is definite. So there's a lot of subjectivity that everybody. This is what I mean, subjectivity. Your own private life that you're experiencing in a way. There is something that you're experiencing, but it's always we might be in the same place in the same situation, but you experience it in different way that I do. It's
Right.
always like that. But
Yeah.
then you can zoom out, like you are saying, and after all, we're all human beings. Okay, they might be different, but they are not something else. They are
Right.
not totally distinct. They belong to
Right.
a category. They belong to a category of experiences from human beings,
I
because
agree.
I experience something more common to you probably than a dog, for example.
I don't know. My dog was pretty good, and she has a chauffeur. So I don't know about that. So now you never got to. So what do you identify as?
Me myself.
No, no, the person behind you. Yes, you yourself. What do you identify
Yeah,
as?
you mean how I identify myself? Well, I
Hmm.
would say the same thing. I mean, there is a social set of rules, let's say, not
Hmm.
not in the meaning of laws, but there are unspoken laws in the society
Right.
also, that we present ourselves in a story that the others understand and make a picture of. So when
Okay.
you are saying you're meeting somebody, yes, okay, I'm Adam. I was born in Poland, half Polish, half Greek. Now I live in Greece, and I'm an artist. So they make an
Right.
image in themselves about me.
Right. Right.
What's
Right. Right.
behind what I might be doing. This is what our minds doing, our brains doing instinctively. They have to create a system and also judge in
Right.
the way that good or bad, but in because then the part of the ego comes, the survival part. The ego,
Right.
I'm identifying it as a survival mode, you see? So I give
Right.
properties to ego that are in the survival mode. So I connect it. So identification is also connection in a way.
Right.
But it's also a pattern, a system of beliefs, properties that linguistic also, that we can express ourselves.
Right.
It can
But
also
see,
be in the way of form of art, like visual
yeah,
art. It's
like
those
what you
those
do.
also
Right.
identification tools.
But see, what I do is when I meet somebody, for your to your point, I guess in a way I judge them because I have to read them because most of the people I meet are for business, so I have to read them in like 30 seconds to determine good, bad, or indifferent. Like, do we want to be in bed with these people? Do we want to go do a deal with these people? Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? You know, it's like when you take someone to play golf and they cheat on golf, then I don't trust them to do business. If they don't cheat on golf, then I'm like, all
Yeah,
right,
you
you
see,
know,
this is the survival part of
right.
the thing.
But don't put you in a. I still look at you as a human being until you're not. And a lot of people I know don't
Yeah,
understand
okay,
that. And it's just
but
yeah,
for
yeah,
me, it's kind of grounded because I will
right,
look at you as it's the first thing. Oh, I'm talking with a human being, so I'm
right,
prepared to do this kind of conversation, this kind of
right, right.
communication. If
Except
I'm looking
David,
at
who's
my
AI.
dog, I know it's different. Yeah,
Right,
but
right,
even this, if there are two persons, you're preparing
right,
myself. You are putting for, because identification is one kind of mechanism which triggers other
right,
part of mechanism there. Then, because if I present myself as an artist, then I will kind of behave as an artist. If what I have
right,
in my mind set of behaviors that I will have to put forward, so you can see, in a way, those also exist.
right.
So it's not, it's part of the whole. That's why
Yeah.
you will see that all the topics that we have chosen, that I'll
Hmm.
be choosing because I've
Yes, that's your
chosen,
show. You have to choose them, my friend.
they will make a circle, and
Right,
those it's a project that we're
right.
doing art in a way here, because I'm not
Yeah,
prepared. I don't look on the Wikipedia what Wikipedia is, or if I do, I just for communications reasons, so that maybe there is a word that I will use and
right,
project to you, so that we can better understand each other. Because
right, right.
something, nobody knows actually what it is. You can have
That's
a
true.
definition, and everybody will give a different definition. The same with other concepts.
Right.
And but today we talk about identity, and identity is in many things. For example, do I identify with my works? I would say yes, because
Right.
I identify with the things that I do, but I don't always know the things that I will do. I plan a lot and not
Right.
always do those that I plan.
Interesting.
Yeah, we always do, but sometimes
Yeah,
we do things that we didn't plan also.
that's true. Well,
So
spontaneous.
it's a mix of things.
Right.
So we are there and asking that, what do I control? Well, some things of the things that you planned happened, so you control
Right.
a part in a way. You don't control everything. This is impossible. But there is a way that, in one way, that we kind of have the ability to identify also ourselves with beings that have a kind of free will. Because this is also important, because this is very important, because like another topic, we will see how we will use it.
All right.
Because next topic will be about meaning. So
Ooh,
just prepare you.
okay.
But they are all connected and linked.
Right.
And yes, and
Well, let me
the
ask you this.
identity.
Let's go to the identity. So now we have people that identify. Like I saw a bumper sticker the other day on a big Ford F-150 truck that says he identifies as a Prius, and I thought that was very funny. I've seen them on cars that go identify as a Ferrari. So now we have kids, boys or girls identifying as the opposite sex. I know somebody's daughter who identifies as a cat. Are we taking this identity too far? I mean, like I mean it in this respect. The problem I see today is everybody wants their kids to be their friends. I'm like, your kids need to be kids. When they're 18, they can be your friends. So I don't think, Johnny or Mary's mind is developed enough that at 12 years old, they go, I all of a sudden want to identify as a girl, a boy, a cat, a dog, whatever. I think the parents need to identify as parents. That would be kind of a novel thing. Instead of identifying as their best friends and I want my child to love. No, I don't. Like my parents, like my mom told me she didn't love me. She didn't breastfeed me because she just liked me as a friend. So it's the same thing today. I think part of the identity problem that people have is they don't know how to identify themselves. I don't think anybody's ever taught them this is what a young man or young lady does. This is what you do. There's no more mentors. So when you say identify, they're all identifying as a tree. You know what I mean? It's not like it used to be where you said to someone, what do you identify as? Boom, boom, boom,
Oh,
boom,
it
boom.
will never
Yes.
be as it used to be. That's the way that things go.
Yeah, but I think we're missing something there where everybody's just like, oh, I identify
We're
as
gaining something. We're
whatever.
missing something. This is also how
We're
it
not gaining
goes.
anything when a 12-year-old goes, I identify as a girl. Really?
Well,
Or a girl?
but there's another aspect to identity, that it's not like the whole universe. It's not static. It's dynamic.
Right.
It
Oh, no,
changes.
it keeps moving. I understand that.
Next
But
year, they will identify as a woman, and
I don't know. But that's my point, though. With
but
identity,
it's
it's nice
also
that the
different
kids.
thing what everybody means identity. That's why I say that it's a set of story, it's a set of belief,
Right.
how we present our identities, because it's stories, nothing more. It's stories, just like everything. Putin identifies himself with something, and that's what he does later.
Right.
Your identity
Right.
is is a force also for your actions, because you believe that in the theater of life you have taken
Right.
this role. It's a role also. It's not
I
only a
guess.
set of images, because sometimes we get into thinking, we create
Mhm.
an identity for ourselves,
Right.
and then it's what you said about the too much thing, that
Right.
we cross a border, that it's going far away,
We
it's going
cross the line. It's
totally out
getting,
of
yeah.
control. Yeah,
Right.
you're right in there. Because on the other,
Yeah.
it's easy to say also, oh, who you are to set any boundaries. Well, you're not setting those boundaries you're proposing those boundaries. You're not
Right. Right.
in a strict way saying don't think this way,
Right.
but
Listen,
you're
I don't care what you identify
criticizing.
as. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just think
yeah,
it's
but
crazy that.
but it is also connected to identifications, because
Right.
like you said, if you take your role, which is dynamic and changes all the time, too seriously, and you
Right.
believe now, because you're a young guy and plays video games as a killer all the time, that you are a
Yeah.
killer also
Right.
in the real life, let's say,
Right.
then it's a problem. That means that
You
you
think?
have an identity crisis. But yeah,
Yeah.
but the young guy might think that, oh, because how they go and shoot at the schools, what happens, that
Oh, it's
they
crazy.
must shoot. Yeah, it's crazy, but how
Yeah.
it develops. It develops in
How
the
it
way that
develops.
you
Yeah.
said. The root is
Yeah.
the root of the problem is the identity that the young guy has taken has accessed something. It's gone
Right.
into beyond those boundaries, and it's gone into unknown, chaotic behavior.
Right.
And sometimes this behavior is very, very dangerous to the society.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
So
just
in a
it's a
way,
different. It's a different world. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think back, 200 years ago, 100 years ago, they had mass shootings at high schools. So something going forward at some point since Columbine in the 80s or 90s, whenever that happened in Colorado, people's identity is like just switched. So, and I'm not sure what's caused it. It'd be cool to have a psychologist come on and tell us, but they would probably be wrong too. But this new thing where, oh, let everybody identify for what they want to identify for, but bullshit. I'm sorry. When you're 18, I don't care. You can identify, or 21, whatever. When you can legally drink, you can legally identify as whatever you want. Until then, I think your parents and whatever, if you want to identify as something, that's fine. I respect it, but I don't think you're old enough to make that decision till your brain's a little more developed. So, that's why when people identify now, if you're 35 years old,
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with
I
this
kind of
kind
do,
of
because then the
identification.
kids are growing up more confused than they already are. Like now, when Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner, he identified as a woman in his 50s or 60s. I'm like, fine. Like, you're old enough that you understand what that means. If you're 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, I don't think you really understand what that means. So
Yeah, but
I understand.
you know,
I don't know. What do I know?
we are grown-ups, and I think that most of the things we don't understand.
I'm still learning.
Yeah,
So, but I just
exactly.
think but
I
parents
think
need
I'm
to be
coming
parents, though.
to realizations that I almost don't know anything.
Really? I
Oh
know two
yeah.
things. That's it. I know I have to do so many shows a week and how to push a button. So, but no, I
I'm
mean,
not even
it's.
sure about that, because I'm not sure, I mean, okay, I'm sure in a way, but what does it mean? I'm not sure about
Right.
that. But this is the topic, the next one topic. We are talking
Yeah.
about
But identity
identities
is
here.
very interesting because you can identify also as a group. You can
Yeah,
identify
yeah, yeah.
as,
This is the next I
like,
wanted to talk.
right, like you have white supremacists, you have Jews, you have Catholics, you have Italians, you have this. So you can identify as a whole group of people.
Yeah, yeah.
You
You
have
can
people that
be
are, yep,
supporters of a team, of a football
yep,
team, for example. They are
yep,
a set of belief. They have an identity of this
yes,
being follower of this group. They're
yep.
very serious to that.
Football, basketball,
So
baseball,
you
hockey,
see,
whatever.
it is also a tool, a mechanism as a society mechanism also
Right,
tool, because we want to belong somewhere. So
right,
identity is also part of helping us, you know, because we are social species,
right.
and we want to become,
You want to be in a group.
yeah, we want to be in a group. Especially this happens a lot in the politics, also that we
Right,
belong into this group of ideas, etc. Yes, those are our projections of the world, of the beliefs of our world also. But
with
it's not that it's bad by default, because identification, it's a need. It's what I
right,
said from the beginning, that our brains will identify you or anything in their own way instantly. Oh, it's a
right.
human. Oh, it's a male. Oh, it's not. All those things happen so fast, so that we know what we are, in front of. We
Or we're
are
encountering, sure.
yeah, yeah.
No, I
This is
understand that.
survival tool.
But past that,
Yeah,
you start
there
breaking it
are
down.
many. Yeah,
Yeah, because everybody identifies a little differently, I think.
everybody identifies for sure differently.
Right,
If we take a point of view like right now with other people, etc., if we go out, zoom out, we will see that there is a bigger group of people who in general
right.
behave like this. Like, for example, the southern Europeans are more loud persons than
More loud.
yeah,
Okay, like a New
yeah,
Yorker. They're like a New Yorker. Okay.
yeah, it's but those kinds of identities, they're created also from many factors, like the weather, like the climate that you live. It's
Wait, you're loud
it's
because of the
part.
climate?
Of course, you have a mentality.
No.
There's a group mentality that
Yeah.
which they identify also with the mentality. For example, if they are very, the Southerners in general in South Europe, because of the climate, because of the fact that, for example, we have 30 degrees right now. In
Wow,
the
that's
evening, we
nice.
have 18 degrees, and it's just April came. Today is the first day
Right.
of April.
For the
We
April Fools.
today is April Fool's, so maybe we will say a a joke or something. We'll see. For now, I cannot, because I don't believe that anything is true, actually, in a way, or everything might be at the same time. It's a paradox. So every day is a
You don't
full
think
day
anything
in a
is
way.
true. I like that. That's
Let's
cute.
do something
All
different
right.
today. Let's tell total truths only.
That would be fun. Well, today, talking
I'm
about
saying the
identities.
truth.
Yeah. No, we always say the truth on these shows. Anyway,
Exactly.
but no, but with
I am open
identity though.
to change my opinion. It's not that I'm
Right.
always open. I really like when I change my opinion because I live in a dynamic. Look, I want to be in many positions, but those positions, if
Right.
I finally decide, let's say, this possibility that I have the free will. If I decide to dive into this kind of point of view, it has to be interesting to me. It has to draw me somehow.
Right.
It has to persuade me in a way.
Right. Right.
And then I'll start
Interesting.
thinking about it and might identify myself. For example, I identify myself with a person who believes in idealism, for example, that everything is mental. I really believe
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I'm not saying it I don't know, for just talking. I really believe it. I live it every day. And I have to tell you that it has changed my mind. It has changed my point of view on how I was thinking on things. I kind of
Right.
zoom out. And when you
Yeah.
zoom out and when you say it's kind of the same outcome when you say that after all we're human beings also. And this is
Right.
true. And this has identity of its own. What it is to
Okay.
be human. Well, I am human. It doesn't matter
Right.
really where I personally go through. But when I'm sad, there are other people sad for other reasons. But we are both sad. So let's see commonalities in the sadness that we have, because there's a mechanism behind the sadness that we all go through in a way, like pain. I think that the pain
Right.
is almost the same thing in everybody. When you are in pain, I mean physical pain, for example,
Right.
also mental. But let's take physical. When you are in pain and your leg hurts, I know what it is. I have
Right.
had it. I can very much picture it, in my
In your
system.
brain.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Right.
can kind of live it, where kind of virtual reality. I can impose a kind of virtual reality. Virtual reality is not something new. We are doing it.
No.
Everything that we are creating as technology already exists as a
Right.
pattern in nature. We
Yeah.
cannot
But
do something that is
as we
outside the
talked about,
nature.
right. But as we talked about in another show, scientists think we live in a virtual reality because they don't know what we live
Some
in.
scientists, this is one theory.
Yeah,
There are
well, there's
many,
a
many
bunch. We
theories
always talk about
in
there's the hypothesis is that it's a virtual reality. There's a hypothesis that it's a
like a
simulation.
matrix.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
hypothesis is they have tons of them because they don't know. The same guys who come up with the Big Bang, they don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't there. So
You see, this is an identity crisis.
right, right, right,
This is an identity crisis because what we do all the time, we are very curious species. We're a very
right.
interesting species. We're very curious.
Yes,
We are kind of diamonds in the sky. I have to say it, with all our bads and our goods.
right,
We are very interesting. We create our mind can create stories that we can kind of relive, like the virtual reality I said, like fantasize
right,
them. Any kind of
right.
stories. And those
That's
identity
true.
things, there are stories. This is an incredible thing that, I mean, we can create in our brains worlds that do not exist, but since we create them somehow in our worlds, I believe that they exist somehow, or we give rise to them. Maybe
They exist
in a
somewhere
part of
else.
the universe, if you just think about a landscape of a planet right now,
Right,
and you think about it, you picture it, oh, I see some rocks and maybe one sun or a second sun and colors like blue here, green there. Maybe there is some
right,
kind of scenery like that there, or it's created right now. I don't
right.
know. I believe that this is how I strongly believe, and I identify myself with it, that we carry something divine with us. We are a piece
Well,
of
it's
a
part of
divine
that's
thing.
part of the human characteristic, though. That's your imagination.
Yeah,
You can make something up.
and
So for you, when you do it in your imagination, you actually put it to paper, though. So you have a work of art. For other people that have it in their nice cup, by the way, they do it in their imagination. Um, it's just an imagination. It's just their. It's a figment of. So it's much different than an artist who imagines and then puts it on paper.
Yeah, it is different as a mechanism of expression.
Correct.
And because, for example, if Messi is running on a field, and trying to put a goal, and it's very, it's kind of a performance. This is also art. In general,
Yes.
everything is art. Every kind of expression is art. But we
Okay.
identify, for example, when we say fine art,
Right.
the word, the meaning that is behind this word, we identify it with paintings, sculptures, digital
Right.
media, all the things that I do, etc., etc. It's a knowledge. You see, it's this mechanism that is trying to make a picture of the person that I'm talking with, because we
Right.
operate with stories all the time, all the time. We don't like to be with. I told you which is the biggest fear: the fear of the unknown. We don't like the
Right.
unknown.
And
we
that
we
and
need
that
we need to believe that we have kind of control, and it's a
control. Right.
survival tool. We need it. We need to fear also. We are in fear all
Right.
the time. One of the topics will be also fear. We'll be talking about fears.
Yeah, but
so
the fear
so
of the
so that
unknown, the big fear of that, I think for most people is death. That's
yeah,
the
but
fear, right?
in one way you can take it as a loss of total identity. I am no
Right, right, right,
longer what I know, what I am.
right. I'm
You
something else.
understand?
Yeah, yeah, no, I
Exactly.
get it.
I
Right,
am
right.
still what I was before I was born. But
Correct.
look, because it's a dynamic universe, each moment you are something different. You come from something else, you are a
Right,
continuation of something, but
right.
your death is a part of continuation of everything.
But that goes
For
back to that's that gateway project the CIA did for the absolute. You're part of the absolute. You're just a stream of consciousness and energy that continues to keep going.
Yeah, but the question is, yeah, this is something that if you believe, really, and I believe that
Right.
we are part of the absolute, this is for sure.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what does it mean to be an expression of the absolute, like I am right now and you? That means
Right.
living and being as a human being, which then we come to identities already. We said it, being as a human being. So it
Right.
means that they are part of a whole mechanism. They are one mechanism inside a mechanism, because this is the universe. There are mechanisms inside
Right.
mechanisms inside mechanisms inside mechanisms ad infinite, ad infinitum.
Infinity. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
to the infinite. There is no end.
Right.
There's no beginning. Also,
Right.
but still, you got the mechanism and everything that works in the you got it inside you, where you carry it with
Right.
every day. You sleep. When you sleep, you have it. When you're right
Well,
now
yeah. I
here,
mean,
if you are
if you
talking,
believe, right, but if you
yeah,
believe in that, if you believe, let's say, in the absolute, right, if you believe in the Gateway Project, or for some people that would be the Bible and the guy with the white beard and blah 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 blah.
yeah,
So if you believe in that, then your belief or your identity is that you're something, you're part of something greater and bigger. But if
yes.
you're just say you're an atheist, then your identity is really you're a part of nothing. So that's a very interesting way to go through life as an atheist. Is
No,
people
I
that
don't think that the atheists believe in nothing, because there is no concept in nothing. In they are most of the atheists, they are following
Mhm.
logic. That means
Oh, I
science and
understand that,
stuff like that, which is
but
pretty
if you
okay, because but
right,
science
but
had
then
not
there's
given all
nothing.
the answers. In fact, it
Right.
has given a very small part of answers, and it's
Answers. Right, right,
changing.
right.
It is something that
Well,
is
they
it's
I don't
also
know if
dynamic.
right, I don't know if it's changing. They keep making shit up. It's like we can't really figure it out. So we're living in a simulation. We're living in the matrix. We're living in this. We're living in that. And they keep changing it. Even like the Big Bang, they go, we've discovered this. We think, oh, this, look at that. This is it. So because they don't know, it's a hypothesis. And it's very
Yeah,
interesting. So
now that you're saying hypothesis about Big Bang, you know what I thought about, and I'm not sure if it's kind of a dream or something that it came
okay,
up with my walks, because I don't know how
sure.
it rose then. But when I started to think about it, it's interesting. There is also a theory that a bounce universe, that when the universe is like bouncing all the time, that the Big Bang
Okay.
is a bounce of something
Bounce back and
before,
forth.
and it's bouncing like that. And
Right,
what
right.
I say, that since there are patterns in the universe in general, why not this is also death, that it's a bounce, ding,
Okay.
ding, when you die and you're born somewhere
Yeah.
else in
Yeah.
as a bounce, like a new
Right.
big bang, because I cannot believe that, okay, there is a big bang, everything stands from
Right.
a point. What was, oh, there's always a question, what was before and what
Right.
will
Right.
be after.
Correct.
And we think we know, we make projections, we make simulations, but it changes all the time because more data is coming.
Right. Well, my question always is like on the scale from 1 to 10, Big Bang is 1. What's 0? Because there's always something before. Nothing becomes, you know what I mean? You can't just come out of no. So there's always something. And then when you find out what 0 is, then the question I would have is what's that 0 and that 0? So you just keep working back, right? And it becomes infinity. So to me, that's
Yeah,
fascinating.
it is infinity. I'm also
Yeah.
pretty sure about that it is
Yeah. And
infinity.
that's what
Yeah, just,
fascinates me as an identity. It's like your identity is technically infinity. And I like
well,
that
it's
thought.
not. This is this is the it is and it's not,
Okay.
because your identity, what your story, let's put
Right.
it in very simple words, your
Right.
story
Right. Right.
has a beginning and has an end, because it's very much linked to space-time, to especially
Yeah.
time, but it also
Right.
needs space,
I
especially
know,
time.
but if the energy that you have goes back to just say the absolute, then theoretically, when the energy goes to like your bounce hypothesis, you're born, you were born, you die, you're born, you're at bounce hypothesis, you go back to the absolute, then you're, if you will, spit out again to go into be something else. In theory, that's still part of your story, but it's not the story of this, what you see, it's the story of your energy. And that to me is fascinating.
But of course, this is a fascinating world. It's totally
I know.
fascinating.
Yeah, the world's not that fascinating. I've seen most of it. The thinking outside the
You,
box is fascinating.
Steven,
So
you haven't seen shit like me, like
I've
nobody.
seen
We
stuff that
haven't
would make
seen
a
shit.
white guy turn whiter. So,
Uh, we haven't seen shit.
well, I mean, no, I
But
haven't taken
everything is in
mushrooms or
front of
anything.
us.
So
Everything is in
I
front
know
of us, and even those that are behind might not be behind at all.
that's
I
true.
don't know. I tell you, when the concept of time as we know it in the 3 dimension plus time, 4 dimensions in the space
Right,
time as
right,
we call it, uh, will kind of bounce out of it, then we will realize that it's not only this. Space
right,
time is one part of the equation of the world,
right,
and then every kind of question that we have, which belongs in the space, like when you say, but what's the zero, the absolute, and all those
right, right, right,
concepts, they don't exist in that world, because the other
right.
world is much more wider. It doesn't
Well,
have the
the
boundaries that
other
we have
right,
boundaries.
but the other
Because
universes
because
and other
because our stories
dimensions.
are finite. We are
Right,
living a finite part, but
right.
the universe needs this finite part, because
Well, it needs this for us.
it needs it because it needs
Yeah,
those kind of perspectives that will give it to
right,
it. We are a very important part of the equation, because we offer perspectives, and some perspectives are more interesting to the
mhm,
universe than some others. That's why, because look, another question: why we innovate? We're innovating for money, and it was always like that, like for money.
mhm,
No, we innovate for because we're curious. What will happen if I do this? What will happen? I'm often
right,
doing it with art. Like, what will happen if I make it red?
right, right.
And it's a question that needs an answer. I do it and make it red, and I say, you see, but you don't that you don't do everything that your man, because you don't have
Right,
the time and the energy. You have
right, right.
you cannot paint it all
Well,
the time. Well, I can do it in Photoshop. It's another good tool that,
right.
if you're about painting something, better first try it on Photoshop, to
Right,
find the
right.
best
But
composition. Later, you might change it anyway.
yeah, but part of that, I think, when you talk about that, it's when you talk about like people and how they'll change and how they do. But I think when you go back to identity, everybody's kind of like not set, but I don't think people think through it as well. Like people just go, it's this. So when you talk about the universe, or you talk about multidimensional, or you talk about this, it could be other beings, other whatever, their space and time would be totally different than our space and time. Our space and time is just for what we are here. what we perceive, what our little brains can perceive as space and time. But if you're a life form that can travel through galaxies in seconds, because you can fold gravity and you can fold space and time, your perception of space and time and your identity would be totally different than what ours would be. And to me, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's about that. This is one of the reasons that we are searching for identities, because we know by default our uniqueness, that we are unique, and we want to express it to show to the rest of the world which is our uniqueness, where I am different actually from guys, all of you. And it's not just to show, I'm better or something like that. I'm different, I know. Okay, but how can I show to the others that I'm different?
Right.
And what's my difference? Because you're living inside your own bubble universe, your subjectivity. And in fact, you never have a friend. You're always living it by yourself. But at the same time, if you start to connect with the rest of the world, you don't feel that you are alone at all. Then you go to the other side, that everything is connected after all. And there is no need to feel alone.
It's a 50-50.
But even if you are, look how kind the universe is. It's going to kill you one day. And you're going to end the loneliness, and you'll become the universe, because that's what happens.
Right.
You're becoming you're becoming the archetype of the universe.
I will tell you, though, I like being alone in the universe sometimes. It's just something about that scotch and cigar.
Yeah.
Nobody's around, and it's like, I'm good. This is what the universe is for me. That's just, I'm good.
This is another expression of the universe, to let you alone.
Yeah,
and to let you feel
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay too. I need to be alone.
I
need to be alone most of the time.
I'm 50-50.
Only my dog can be here, but I don't feel that she will be judging me or anything.
Correct.
Also, there's a question why we want to be alone. Also, so being a loner in a way, it's also an identity. You see, because it makes a picture of it.
But being alone, what I find when I have especially scotch and cigar alone time, or walking the dog alone time, it helps you think. It helps you process. It's quiet, right? I'm not on my phone. I'm not talking to anybody. Maybe I'm listening to music or nothing. So it's sort of like that peacefulness of the universe, and it's the void of it, and it's just nothingness. And I'm like, I like that. There's just something about that that's very calming. So when I'm stressed out, that's my go-to. It's like, let me get a scotch and cigar. Let me just sit and be by myself for however long my mini holiday needs to last. And it's just the peacefulness of the universe, because there's absolutely nothing, and it's perfect. So
there is always something.
Well, except in my little nothingness.
There is also in your nothingness.
I know. Even in my nothingness, there's something. I know.
Look, because you might think that you came from nothingness. No, you didn't come from nothingness.
No, I know I came from something.
You were there all alone, but you were not expressing yourself then. But a moment came, and you start to express yourself in the way that you are now, and the things that you identify with. You see?
Yeah. As I used to say to a friend of mine, I said, were you born or were you created? And that makes people think.
No, this is a linguistic game.
Linguistic game. There's a difference between being created. There's a difference between being born.
Well,
so we can discuss that. That'll be another show. That'll be like a teaser.
Okay, it might be, for sure, it might be a big conversation.
But that one will have David on, because David's just AI generated, so we created.
Yeah, David. I think the question fits to our next topic.
Okay.
Because our next topic is about meaning.
Okay.
About next week.
Next week's show.
What's the meaning of being born, and what's the meaning of being created?
I'm going to make sure that I put that in the title, so everybody knows to join in next week for the meaning of life.
Yeah. I put it on the. I should warn you maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying it always. I always say what is the next topic.
I know, but I'm going to put that now on our live shows so people know what the topic is, so they'll want to watch it.
Meaning.
The next one is meaning, but the question is, are we going to play Life of Brian's? Always look on the bright side of life. You always look on the bright. Never mind. Anyway, that's meaning. So
that might be a product of meaning. How you look at things, because
I think
there is meaning in joy, but there is meaning in sadness. They are both meaning. meaning carriers.
I agree. I agree 100% with
But
that
we
one.
will speak about it next time.
Yeah. Are you, by the way, for the fans, will you be doing ad hoc this week? Because they all loved you on
I don't know.
Morton's show.
I
All right.
can't tell.
All right. If you can be on, they all loved
I'm
that.
always
They all loved it.
surprised.
Yes, it's always a surprise.
In the
We love
box,
it.
the box that
Yes.
opens. I will try to be, but
everybody liked the show. I got a lot of nice comments at you. They loved you and
because I
Morton
don't
together.
speak with too many people in general. I have to tell
Right.
something. This is also kind of identification because I'm creating pictures, about my life.
Right.
I am in the village. There are not too many people here, but I'm also close into myself because I work with my arts. I think a lot and I do stuff. There are some unfortunate stuff also in the family right now, so there is a lot of going on. But I don't have too many conversations with people, and I don't talk about topics like that.
Right.
I rarely speak, but I think it's nice to speak about. I have the need to do it.
And here you are.
It's part of the necessities.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
I think another topic will be about the necessities because it's a misjudged word, and what is necessary. It's a natural process also, and we will always do what is necessary. It's our priority in life. So.
Yeah. Well, I always love talking to you.
So we have a lot of topics in front of us.
We do. I see that for the next 20 years. We'll be doing this
you
for a
will
while.
see that they create a chain, and this chain is doing something. We will all figure it out what it's doing, actually.
One day when we're older, we'll figure it out. And with that, as we get older, we'll let everybody thank you for watching the live broadcast, which is every Monday morning at 7:45, or I'm sorry, 8:45 EST, so New York City time, and rebroadcasted every Tuesday morning. And the podcast is also broadcasted on Tuesday morning, so you can catch that podcast on Two Old Farts Making Noises, and you can catch this on that. And Dawn says, I know you were both, what's this? Dawn wants to say, I know you were born parents created by the universe. Hi, I know I was born by parents. Oh, that's cute. Created by the universe. So Dawn was born by parents and created by the universe. Yes, Dawn.
That's a good answer.
That's very good.
Very good,
Dawn. Yeah.
Dawn, come next time. You talk with
Dawn
us.
was on the last time. Remember Dawn a couple weeks ago? It was like in all the artwork and stuff.
Yeah,
so
because we had we were asking about the name.
Yeah, Dawn.
And if it's male or female. You see, identities again. We necessarily do this. It's not for judgment. It's to know who we are speaking with. It's also part of the meaning that we will be speaking next time. Because we want to find meaning, and identity, searching identity is a mechanism to find also meaning.
I agree. And so Dawn,
who was our next show,
which is meaning, it'll be on live next week, and then rebroadcast will be on Tuesday. And Dawn, who I know was born by parents and created by the universe, thank you for commenting. Everybody else, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you all next week. Adam, I'll talk to you a little bit. Cheers.
Bye-bye.